Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Sessions with Kat. We're here with another new deck. I'm going to go over a few things before we get into today's topic in this new deck. Number one, last week, I posted about the giveaway. I'm adding 4 more decks to that because I found 4 that I don't need. I don't require them. They need not be in my possession. So, like last week's video, comment below in this video by saying, bitch, I'm interested. With these 4 decks, because I'm not going to put them in this video, it's going to be kind of a surprise for you. Like the 5th deck in the last video, it's going to be kind of a surprise. But if you're interested and would like to receive a deck, just say, bitch, I'm interested. Like, give me personality. Give me the, you. So that I know which deck to send to you. Right? Shipping's covered by me, so you don't have to worry about any of that. We'll just, discuss details as I choose who gets which deck. That being said, next thing on my list, walking home barefoot. The new program. The sign up begins tomorrow. Okay? I will send out a special little email. If you're on my email listing, you'll get it. If you are not and you would like to sign up, there is a link in the description box area for you to sign up. And then you'll get the newsletter regarding walking home barefoot. So it'll go out in the newsletter, a special little newsletter, and then I will not be posting it on Instagram until the middle of the month. So the 1st and the 15th. It's kind of the dates I'm going for. Because, those who have been with me on my email listing, kind of like my ride or dies almost, but not die, because I don't want y'all to die, but those who've been going strong with me, you'll receive that plus any sales of the month in my monthly newsletter. So you'll get 2. If you're on the email listing, you'll get 2. You'll get the monthly newsletter, and then you'll get the one regarding walking home barefoot. So keep your eyes out for that. Let me see what else. I think that's it, y'all. That's all the news. That's all the updates. That's all the stuff that I had to go over. So, that being said, let's get into today's topic, which is dealing with fucking retrogrades. Okay, never mind which fucking planet or whoever is looking like it's moving backwards, because that's basically what a retrograde is. It's the whole concept of retrogrades and how my opinion here, okay, suggest you move about them. Okay, not just Mercury retrograde, because we all know what kind of bitch that is. But you got Saturn, Jupiter, all those lovely planets that decide they all want to seem like they're moving backwards and distort dysfunction and all types of chaos that comes with it. So we're gonna go over that as we walk through this. And before I get fully into this, how y'all doing? Comment that below too. How y'all doing? Y'all staying hydrated, you staying good, you feeling good, you living good? What? Tell me, talk to me. I hope y'all can. I think I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you guys can actually see. There we go. This is the Wild Elemental Oracle. I have another Oracle by Miss Michelle. But I don't know if I went over it or not. Hope you guys can see that. The box is kind of empty here. I wish this would have kind of kept through it. That would have been cool, but what else? Right? It's a nice little box. So let's talk about retrogrades. Because these bitches is getting on my nerves. Okay, just so you know, if you were looking at this deck, or if you are interested in this deck, you know, just from me showing the box and not even the cards yet, the pictures inside are in color. So that should help to some degree. But let's talk about retrogrades. And I'm not going to go into specifics of each retrograde. Do not expect that in this vehicle. Oh, vehicle. Yeah, because this is a fucking ride. So I guess that is the right word. But don't expect that in this video, because each one is so different yet so much like the other. I hope that made sense. These are the backs. It is gilded in pretty little shiny gold. So much of, hold on, I gotta bend them to break them apart. Make sure they're not sticking. So much of the retrogrades are like yet unlike one another. And to go into this like specifics of each one, that video is too long. And I don't feel like doing it. However, if that is something you would like me to put in like the monthly newsletter or post about it on Instagram, I can do that. But I will not be making a video of each one specifically. We're just talking about how to fucking get through them. Because these motherfuckers decided all at once that it was a good idea to be in retrograde. And the way I'm set up, I don't know how y'all set up, that shit rude. Okay? It's just fucking rude. Like, if you know me, you know what my face look like right now. It's fucking rude, right? Like, and I'm coping with it, right? As best as we can anyway, and best as I can. So what a retrograde is essentially is the planet itself appears to be moving backwards. It's moving forward. It's just that the rate that it's moving makes it seem as if it's moving backwards. That's essentially what a retrograde is. In that retrograde phase, shit gets weird. Technology gets chaotic. Communication gets chaotic. Feelings, emotions, your monthly cycle, if you still have one, gets chaotic. Your migraines and other bullshit could occur. Keep that in mind, okay? Because we're going to go through a few, I guess, what's the word? Like remedies? That's the word for retrograde, to kind of essentially help you through it. This is what I found to help me. And disclaimer, it's not because I'm vegan, it's just because this is what I found to have helped me even before I became vegan. So I want to put it that way. And if you're into animals, this has a lot of animals in it. So this might be a good deck for you if you are looking for an animal, earthy plant type of oracle. Okay. So let's talk about it. The main one we know about is Mercury retrograde. And we know that that's typically all communication, even throughout technology. Like, you know, you try logging into something. This is an example. You try logging into something. You know your username and your fucking password, and shit don't work. So then you try a different password. Shit doesn't work. You try a different username. Doesn't work. Then you go back to the original one, right? The original username and original password, and now all of a sudden this bitch won't work. That's Mercury retrograde. It's like when you're trying to plug in your fucking charger into the wall and you have to keep fucking flipping the cord until it finally goes in. It's like, bitch, you knew I had it right the first time. That's kind of how Mercury retrograde works. But when you have other planets moving in retrograde, it's more than just technology. It's more than just communication. It's more than just shit that fucks with your psyche, okay? Like the mental part of it. You are now dealing with emotional, physical, financial. It starts hitting all levels, okay? So the number one thing I've learned when any planet decides it wants to be in retrograde and it could possibly fuck up my rotation, okay? First thing I do is, well, roll back. What you should be doing is, if you have a fucking planner, that shit should be in your planner. Now, there are planners out there that list when the retrogrades are happening. Kudos to them, okay? If you don't have one of those planners, then you should be looking that shit up to know when the retrogrades are going to begin and end, so you understand the shadow phase before and the shadow phase after, okay? Because that whole shadow phase on top of the retrograde and the shadow phase after play a big role in your growth cycle through that retrograde. So keep that in mind. So first and foremost, get a fucking planner, okay? And put the moon phases, the retrograde phases, whatever floats your boat, put those retrograde phases in there first, okay? Because them bitches will snatch souls if they could. So put that's first things first. But once the retrograde begins, or we're coming into the shadow phase of that retrograde, right? So you're either at the beginning of the retrograde or in the shadow phase right before it begins. The first thing I do is I shift my diet. There is nothing like being mentally and emotionally clouded, just, 52 ways of fucked up during a retrograde. Like, that shit sucks, okay? And I don't recommend it for anybody. So I change my diet. And I don't go on a diet. Okay, these are two different things. I shift my diet. Your diet is what you actually put into your body, okay? So I go to more of a plant-based diet. Now, being vegan, I go to more of a raw diet, okay? You don't have to do that, but you should be eliminating those things that make you feel heavy, right? And I know some of y'all over there like, so I gotta get rid of the comfort food. Yes, you do. Just until that phase is moved on, if it's affecting you in that way, okay? So the first thing I do is I change my diet to a more plant-based one now. Being that I'm currently vegan, I switched to something that's more raw. So 85% raw, 15% cooked. That's usually how my diet flows when there's a retrograde happening, like now. I try to eat things that I don't have to cook, right? That I don't have to alter the natural state of it. And what happens when you're eating that type of diet is you're allowing yourself to stay become more grounded, become more centered, to feel a little bit more lighter, so you don't feel as heavy going through the retrograde. It also clears up some of the cloudiness of the third eye. So if going plant-based is difficult for you, then try to do something like a 50-50. Okay, so if you're one of them people like, I gotta have meat, like if you're one of those type of people, switch to something that's like 50-50, okay? Or maybe make every other meal plant-based. However you see fit, but you need to lighten the load, okay? Second thing I do is I then create a meditation regimen. Now, I switch it up. Meditation is not all just sit there and be all up in your brain. Some of y'all can't sit still, okay? I can sit still for up to about 45 minutes, and then that's it, okay? I don't always sit still, though. So you guys switch up your meditation. So if you want to do something that's artsy, crafty, or whatever, you need to set aside at least 30 to 45 minutes to do that, okay? Now, if you have kids, do that shit with your kids. Make it a meditative environment for all of you. They don't have to know that that's what you guys are doing, Or if you want to introduce them to that, then that is a way to do it, but you can do it that way. I suggest taking nature walks, having a picnic at the park, anything of the sort that will bring you kind of back to the present moment, into a moment of mindfulness where you're present and you're not worried about the past, you're not worried about the future, you're right where you need to be, which is in that moment. So I do create myself some sort of regimen, and I work it around my work schedule, right? You don't want to just be planning shit like in the middle of the day while you're at work. Unless you got it like that, you can just leave work and go do it, right? I highly recommend that you, create some sort of meditation regimen. That will also help with getting through the retrograde. Now, you're probably going to be like, the next thing I'm about to say, you're probably going to like, bitch, just throw that in with meditation. Journaling. Okay? That is not meditative for some people. It's not, depending on what the fuck you're writing in that journal, is not meditative for everybody. It's releasing. Okay? And it's good to get the shit out on paper because then you can see it and it's out of your body. Okay? That is one way to meditate. But journaling in this aspect is more or less to help you see your growth cycle throughout the retrograde. Okay? Because you can see where you started and then how your entries shift into something better. Okay? So depending on the type of retrograde, you'll want to journal based off of that energy, right? So if the retrograde is all about career and whatnot, then you'll want to journal about that, right? If it's all about communication, you'll want to journal about where you are at that current moment. And then each day that you journal, you're shifting and you're becoming better, you're doing better, and you're implementing better communication tactics and whatnot. It'll show in your journal. So you'll see your growth cycle as you move through the retrograde. Okay? So while some of you might want to put that hand in hand with meditation, I don't recommend it. That's my personal opinion. I don't recommend it. But if you would like to, you can. It's just that I'm breaking the list up so that for those of you who, are a little scattered like I can be sometimes, you kind of want like a checklist and you can say, oh, I meditated, oh, I journaled, like that kind of thing. It's like sometimes we just kind of need it broken up into steps. And truthfully, journaling is a separate step from the meditation because what you take from the meditation, you can then put into your journal. Okay? Whatever floats your boat. Now, I also recommend that if you are into oracle decks, tarot, what have you, get you a deck that you specifically have for retrogrades, right? A deck that will speak to you on all levels. There are some oracle decks that do that. There are some tarot decks that do that. If your charms do that, then do that. If you're like me and you have like a bottle cap collection that you have sayings on, you can use that. You can use witches runes, regular runes, whatever, okay? Your personal choice. I do recommend that because sometimes the way the energy starts to move throughout that retrograde, you might not understand it and you need some clarity. And what you'll want to do is you'll get that oracle deck or whatever. Like for me, it's mostly tarot. You'll shuffle it or mix up your charms or whatever, and then just choose at random. And it should help to put into perspective what that random energy you are feeling, okay? If it doesn't make sense right away, you can pull another one, or you can just see how it goes throughout the day and then see how it connects, okay? That's a nice lion card. Looks like a damn strawberry over here. This is what it kind of looks like to me. I don't know about y'all, but it looks like a strawberry to me. This is something that you will need during retrograde as a side note to everything I just listed. Strength. Okay? Getting rest. I cannot stress that enough. You do not want to be mentally, emotionally, physically, or any type of depleted while you're going through a retrograde. The reason being is that's usually the culprit for the cloudiness and the chaoticness in the third eye and the feeling of overwhelm and whatnot. It's because your body's tired. Your body's like, bitch, I need to sit down. I need a drink or something. Like, stay hydrated. Make sure you're eating proper foods. Make sure you're getting rest. Those things are so important because you need that strength to get through the retrograde. So that's kind of a side note there. But please keep it in mind, okay? Other things I do, okay? Spirit wants me to tell you one thing, and I'm over here like, I'm gonna tell him this. Spirit's like, tell him this. So, and I don't know who this is for, but I do this for myself. I do have like a dance party. Move your body, okay? Sometimes during retrogrades, it's not good to actually just work out. Okay, now for all of you workout people there, don't be mad at me. You can still work out. It's just you need those moments where your body is kind of free-flowing, which is kind of like trance dancing or just a dance party, okay? I do recommend that like once a week, okay? Now, here comes the heavy part, because this is kind of the main thing that typically happens during retrogrades. Oh, I like that to be here because it's a lot of work. Trauma comes up. Past trauma comes up. It's like it just like it bursts through and forces itself in, and it's like, I'm back, bitches, that kind of thing. And sometimes you ain't ready for it. Okay? So one of the things I recommend is healing sessions. Now, whatever that may be for you, because some of you are into different forms of energy healing. Okay, I know there's like beta, theta, whatever out there. There's just regular Reiki. There's like for myself, like I do Chios and just shamanic healing, and I have other different types of healings underneath that. Like the Atlantean dolphin healing, things like that. You need to get some form of healing, okay? It's going to take a lot of work, because sometimes that trauma comes up for you to deal with it so that you can actually reach your goal. It's not there to piss you off. It feels like it. It's not there to even hold you back. It feels like it, but it's not there for that reason. That trauma will come up during that retrograde to help you move forward. That is, like, that's the key there. Retrogrades, while they feel like you're dealing with past shit or you're trying to like work through shit, it's not meant to hold you back. It's meant for you to slow down and see what key areas you missed that could be prevent you from reaching your goal in that particular retrograde. Okay, so while retrogrades feel like some straight assholes, they're actually good for you. They're good for the whole. It's just sometimes the motherfuckers be beating the shit out of us, like, like we done pissed off Mike Tyson or something. Like retrogrades can feel that way. So I want you to remember that if past trauma comes up or if old cycles come up, it's now time to learn the lesson that's there, release the bullshit, and then create new boundaries, new habits, or whatever that you need in order to achieve your goals, right? Because contrary to popular belief, you can use the retrogrades to reach your goals. That's a whole nother video. It's kind of like moon phases, truth be told. And like which moon phase you use to help you achieve part of your goal or whatever, you can use retrogrades in that kind of same respect. It's just a matter of how you use them and the strength that you need in order to move through them. So just kind of keep that in mind, all right, that retrogrades are good for you. It's just you got to have some type of tools in your toolbox to get through the shit, because fuck, retrogrades. like you need a whole fucking bottle of Crown afterwards. Which, by the way, side note, okay, it sucks being allergic to gluten, cause you can't have liquor. Well, see, if you like me, I like whiskey and whatnot, and I can't have it, so it kind of sucks. It just really fucking sucks. I can smell it, but I can't drink it. Because sometimes during retrogrades, you just need a shot. Okay, don't be afraid to take that shot if you need to. All right, just know that that shouldn't be like your cure-all. Okay, there is a way through the retrograde season, especially when there are multiple hitting us. You just want to make sure that you are doing what you can, okay? When I say stay hydrated, Spirit told me to go back. When I say stay hydrated, sometimes that's not just about water. Sometimes your ass need a bottle of Gatorade, Powerade, whatever. Sometimes you just need to drink something, because some of y'all go throughout the day and won't drink a lick of fucking water or a lick of anything, and mouth be dry as fuck, right? Be out here like damn, what's them damn biscuits, Popeye's biscuits, because them bitches is just dry as fuck, right? I'm glad I can't eat them no more. You just be out here like fucking Nature Valley crunchy ass granola bar, just dry, right? The Sahara Desert be all up in your mouth. Get hydrated. Sometimes that's all you need to be, to get your body feeling better, to get your body some energy, is to rehydrate, right? And a lot of times, especially if you sit behind a desk all day, your ass be sitting there and you get the damn hydrate because you just too busy doing this, too busy doing that. Well, don't forget you fucking need you, okay? And if you got kids, your kids fucking need you in order to be around. You gotta take care of yourself. Right? And retrogrades will definitely teach you that you gotta take care of yourself, especially your mental and physical body, for sure. Okay? Now, for those of you who still have a cycle, and your cycle occurs during a retrograde, I am sorry. I'm so sorry. Sometimes retrogrades can force your cycle to be horrible. Sometimes it could be better. I'm just gonna apologize if it's horrible. But if you shift your diet and you start implementing things that help keep you grounded and centered, it shouldn't be as bad, okay? Because that does play a part. It really does play a part for those of you who are, still having a moon cycle there. So, if you have any questions, put those in the comments regarding the retrogrades. Pertaining to this video, if you want, me to actually make a fucking video on different retrogrades, I'd probably have to break them up into a series. But if you want it in the newsletter, I'll do it there. If you want it on Instagram, I'll do it there. Just, you gotta fucking let me know. But if you have any questions, go ahead and put those in the comments. There's one other thing, and Spirit's like, no, they don't need to know that. And I'm going to agree. You probably don't need to know that one thing. And I know that probably pissed some of you off. But that's how Spirit works when I'm doing these videos. But those are the main kind of key things that you need to that, in my opinion, right, from my guides to yours, that you need to be aware of as you're going through different retrogrades. It's never too late to start any of those things either, especially if being now we're in the midst of retrogrades and whatnot, and hopefully all of these bitches end sooner than later. It's never too late to start those things so that you can have a more peaceful, shadow phase as you move out of the retrograde. So, oh wow, she put a robe on in there. That's nice. Even though they're not as fast as Bugs Bunny, the Bugs Bunny show made them out to be. All I keep hearing is Hera. So, if any of you are into Greek goddesses, I keep hearing the name Hera, and I know peacocks are kind of her thing as well. You might need to look into that, see what she's calling you for, because if she was calling to me, she'd let me know. But I'm assuming she's calling out to somebody. So keep that, that's for whoever needs that part. So yeah, that's how I those are the main things that I do to help me get through the retrograde season, especially when there are multiple retrogrades occurring. And then lastly, I'll say this. If you can't do any of the things on that list, if it's just not possible, the very least you can do is make sure you take a hot shower every day and cleanse your fucking aura. Okay? That can do wonders for you as well. So if you can't do anything else on that list, at least take a fucking hot shower every day. That would be my recommendation. Okay? That being said, stay hydrated. I hope all of you are making it through this season of retrograde bullshit and the times and whatnot. Make sure you're eating and you're enjoying, your meals. And for those of you concerned about me with the whole hurricane and whatnot, I'm more inland, so I don't actually get hit with the hurricane itself. I get like the rain and like some of that wind, but other than that, I don't get much else. So where I'm located, I'm more inland versus on the coast. So I'm good. If you were worried about me, I'm good. And I hope all of you are good no matter where you are, and no matter what you're dealing with. I hope all of you are good, your families are good, so on and so forth. That being said, y'all have a good weekend, and I wish you all the brightest of blessings. Bye.